Hey.
Hey, what is up?
Well,
What
not
is
too
up?
much. Bit late for me, but we're
No
doing
worries.
fine. We're doing fine.
Fastest
So,
all time.
how'd you enjoy the map?
Dude, I had a great time. That was a ton of fun.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. It was
Awesome.
it was honestly like really like those tracks are all really good. I love all the different power-ups. The music really makes it
Thank you.
feels super good. And yeah, like super good. Just great map all around.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, let's get a couple more Millers in the chat. It's a 3 Miller kind of day, but I got extensive notes, so we'll keep this on track. Let me just go message the people that were in the.
Wait, you're not drinking Corona?
No, I do have a bunch of Corona seltzers.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, let me just message Chris and those guys so they can join the voice channel. Move you in the secret one. I know we have a secret voice channel for
Super secret interviewing.
there it is.
Hey.
Is Venom somebody that is interviewing, or is it just us three?
No, it's just Overspace, Brandon, and me.
No worries. Cool. All right, let's jump into it. Cool, Abby. We are interviewing Minetite, and I've been super excited to talk to them because they there's been a long journey to get Minetite into the marketplace partner program. And I know Tice has been part of the community for a really long time. And so far, the content that they've shipped have been super high quality. There was the Ultimate City mashup, which was a pretty astounding hit. And coming out of the gate with a mashup is pretty impressive. And then following up with Extreme Kart Racer. There might have been some other content in between there, but
no, just the mashup and this map. Really,
look at that. It's my partner program. And I know all the content that people do. I don't.
Exactly.
I only know some of them, and I would say I agree with you, Clank. Their content is mine tight.
Wow.
But anyways, thanks for hopping in and staying up super late because I'm sure it's not super early for you.
Since 2024.
No, it's like 1:30 a.m. right now.
And thanks, Foster, for the Vince 2024 5-month resub. Look at that gold mine coin. That looks so good. All right, well, let's start with intros then. So we got Brandon or Brand Flake, Overspace, and Tice. So how about you do a quick interview starting at the top?
Okay. So just wanted me to talk about who I am, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. What's your name and what do you do for Minetite?
Yep, I'm Brandon Hale, and I'm one of the composers for Minetite.
Sounds good. That's it.
Overspace?
Yeah, so I am the other composer. My name's Nick. Specifically for this project, I'll talk about what we did. So Brandon did most of the music. I think all but the castle music, and the fanfare, and then I did all the sound effects.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Also very good.
Yeah,
and then Tice.
I'm Tice. I basically lead the team. I do I do all the stuff. Well, I wouldn't say all the stuff, but I do a lot of stuff on the projects. So for this project specifically, I did almost all models except the cards. The cards were made by Sam. Shout out to Sam. And then I did the animations, and Ronnie and I did the building. I did do texture work. Ronnie did do texture work, but I mostly just manage and be. I'm trying to be as all around as I can. So yeah, also most of the tech is done by me, and then we also have Surlich, who sadly couldn't make it right now because it's also 1:30 a.m. for him. But also big shout out to him. And we also have Mega VS Prime, who did all the testing and stuff, and also some brainstorming. So
cool. You have Sir Lich on your team? Is that true?
Yeah, we do.
That's sick. Because he does all of the. Is it the Bedrock documentation? Is that right?
Yeah, he does. yeah, he's really good at what he does for sure. So
That's sick.
without him, we definitely couldn't have made this. So
Yeah.
big shout out to him.
I'm gonna try and get Ronnie in the because I want to ask some questions about the builds because the builds are pretty good. So
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
we'll get Ronnie in here. I sent them our my Discord link, so we'll get Ronnie in here. But so I want to start with you, Tice, because I know that
Mhm.
Minetite's kind of your baby, your kind of new team. So
Mhm.
how did you get started in kind of the Minecraft community and or in even the kind of marketplace community for as well?
I started with Minecraft in 2010, and but just playing survival and stuff. But then back in 2013, I met Ronnie on a building server, and since then we've ever been friends. So almost 6 to 7 years we've been friends now, and mainly just doing building for clients for servers and stuff. And then around 2 years ago, I think I joined the Minecraft Marketplace through another partner. But then I wanted to start my own team, so I started my own team. We released some content and stuff, but I had too many plans and cool concepts, which I didn't feel like would fit my original team. So I was like, okay, I'll just start a new team. I'll get investors on board, like really the big picture, and that's what. And then we worked on a mashup for 9 months nonstop,
Damn.
which released in June, and then we felt it was time to take a break. So we took a break of 3 months basically, and then in September we started this project, which we actually made in under 2 months. So pretty proud of the result because we
Yeah.
wanted to
Wow. That's
release it before
incredible.
the end of the year. So yeah, in September I also hired Brandon and Nick and Sirlich, Sam, Kieran, and Ronnie already were with Minetide, and now I also hired Brandon in Overspace, and Nick, and they're really like I'm really satisfied with the value they provide over to Minecraft. Like it's insane how well the music has been done, and Zerlich has been absolutely cracking all the
Mm-hmm.
tech. So yeah, without them, it definitely wouldn't have been possible. So
Nice.
most of
All
the
right.
credit goes to Brandon and Nick for sure.
Dude, that's super cool. All right, Ronnie, just hop in any of the voice channels and I'll drag you into the super secret interview channel. But that's cool. So I'm going to make you tell this story just because it really sort of it inspired Todd and I. But I'm going to tell you the story about how you got like the funding if you're okay telling that story.
Sure. Roddy, maybe you should mute. Actually, we can hear you the stream. So you want to talk to me about how I got the funding for the mashup and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. Well, like, because you had to get. I don't want to tell the story too much, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. But tell me a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about how you got the funding and what that process was like, because I think that's a really kind of cool and unique thing about Minetite was that you started and then you had the vision, but then you had to go get funding to get the team kind of off the ground. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to know a little bit more about that.
Um. So yeah. Um. I know some people who do tax advisory and stuff for like pretty rich people. So I reached out to them and like, hey, could you help me? I have this idea and stuff, and they told me to write a plan for it. And like business wise, it was a really bad plan. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a really bad plan. So they told me a lot of stuff, and they said, okay, we're gonna do a trial project with you. We're gonna see if your project works, and if it doesn't, then it's all good. Because when I founded Mindset, I was 19 years old, and the total cost for the mashup we made were over $50K. So that's a lot of money. Like if we would fail, then I would be in a huge debt for a 19-year-old. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So what they said is, okay, we'll do a trial project with you, and if it succeeds, then you can continue Minecraft, and if it fails, I'll just disband Minecraft and work on other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like smaller projects and stuff with less cost. Um, so for 9 months, I've been working non-stop, like actual 15 hours a day to 18 hours a day every single day to to get the mashup done. And then when it released, we made like a sort of estimate of, okay, on the first day we want to have $300, on the second day $400, and the first
Mhm.
week was just insane. I was shocked by how much it brought in. Like, was it? And then we immediately said, okay, this project is gonna succeed. We're gonna continue. So that's really good. And right now we're still working together with the investors. Like, they're getting us some more funding, so I can hire Brandon and Nick for an example. Create this cool music for this map, and yeah,
That's
that's
so
basically
cool.
the story.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like one. I think it's awesome that you have that that connection that allows you to kind of do that. I think that's awesome. But then also just like it's so crazy to me being on the other side of this, right? Where I started working on the marketplace 4 years ago, and we
Hmm.
started with nine partners, and now in 2020 there is a person that is asking like investors, hey, I want to go and build a marketplace team, would you invest in me? And then they're like, yes. And then at the end of it becomes a legitimate business and like something that their investment would pay off. And that is just mind-blowing to me. It's so crazy, just how cool that is.
Yeah, it is. I remember when back in like November 2019 or something, I had my first call with Todd about it, and I explained to him like, okay, I have this plan and the investors in it, and Todd was just blown away by it, and he said, okay, we'll definitely get you to do this. This sounds so cool. And then I remember sending a message in the channel we have with all the Microsoft people, where I explained what we're planning on doing, and everybody was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" And that was a big motivation, and that's something I still notice actually. That's also something I tell the people who work with me. Like, we have 4 core values at Minetide, and one of them is being friends. Like, we have to actually be good friends, so we can be honest and direct to each other, say when something isn't well or when something is really cool. And that's something I noticed, which I have with Microsoft as well. Like, I have a really good connection with you and Todd, and
Hmm.
that's just a huge motivation for sure. And that definitely helps a lot. Like, you also live streaming our project, huge motivation for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, of course. I mean, like this is the reason I love doing these streams is just that I get to shine a light on some of these really cool teams that I know are super cool and that have these really unique and interesting and just kind of inspiring backgrounds. And I just love kind of pulling those out and sharing those with with the community and kind of telling those stories. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the team then. So how many people are on your team now?
Currently I have, let me just double check for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contractors. And then I also have Ronnie, who recently founded his own team and got partnered with Microsoft. Then I also have Ronnie as sort of as a backup team, which I can hire to do some extra building or whatever. So
Nice. What team
yeah,
is Ronnie on then?
he got partnered like a month ago or something. It's called Mecha Designs.
Okay.
He's really new yet, so I'm also teaching him some stuff, but nothing too big yet. But we definitely have some cool plans for Ronnie. So
Nice.
maybe keep an eye out.
So is that like kind of is it under 10 in total then that you have on your team or what are you thinking?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How many individuals then in total, just the number, are people on your team?
Around, well, Ronnie's team isn't Ronnie's contractors aren't really on my team, but if you would count those as
Mm.
well, then around 10 to 11,
Okay, cool.
including me.
That's awesome. And then how do you so I know we have, two of the sound designers, you are kind of a jack of all trades, and
Hmm.
then Ronnie's kind of on the build team. So is that kind of how you think of your team and the kind of roles that are on Mindsight as sound designer, composer, builder, that kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. A thing I recently, the last 3 months or so, tried to do is really try to expand the skills myself. So before I could mainly do building and a bit of tech/mechanics for it. But I really want to expand my skills. So for this map, for instance, Sam made all the cards, but all other models in the map are made by me, and Ronnie made 1 or 2 models. But I really wanted to expand my modeling skills and also more texture work and stuff. So that's sort of what we're transitioning to right now, is where I'll do a lot of work and the stuff which others can do either even better or faster. That stuff I'll delegate over to them. So I can't do anything music related. So that's why I have Brandon and Nick on the team, because they're just really good. Then I know, okay, they can do it better than I can. I'll just let them handle it. And the same goes for Ronnie. Ronnie can do some things. Ronnie can build way better than I can. So then I'll let Ronnie do it. And Mega is really good at testing this stuff. Like I don't have the time to test the stuff. So then I'll just tell Mega, okay, could you test this and report the bugs over to me? Then I just know he'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's cool that Mega's on your team. He's been a long time follower of the stream, but then also just like on Twitter and stuff like that. Him and I go way back. So last question about the team. Then I want to hear about the music, because that was really cool. What were some of the challenges that you kind of ran into, like getting a new team off the ground?
Initially, when I founded Minetite, it wasn't too hard to get a team, because I had my old team and almost all of them transitioned over to Minetite. For example, Mega, Ronnie, Sam, and when the mashup we made with total of 5, I believe. Yeah, 5 people total. And then once it succeeded, I just opened some applications, and luckily Brandon and Nick both applied, and we went through a sort of application system. Nothing too spectacular. And now we have this team, and also I reached out to Sir Lich myself, because I know he's really good.
Yeah.
And now he's doing some work for us as well. So yeah, that's how we basically got the team we have right now.
Cool. So yeah, so you kind of use some of your previous connections and experience kind of working on teams to kind of build your team. That's cool.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's talk about the art. So we got Brandon and Overspace. Well, Overspace, what was your actual name? Sorry, I missed it.
My name's Nick.
Nick. So we got Brandon and Nick. So you mentioned that there's kind of a delineation between the work that you and Brandon do. So how do you kind of determine who works on what when it comes to the sound design and things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, this project was really just, I feel like, kind of a test, because this is the first, project that me and him worked on, both of our first projects. So we kind of just took it step by step, and we're like, oh, what are we most comfortable with? So I've been doing like music for a really long time digitally. So I was like, oh, I have quite a bit of experience with sound design. So I thought that I could take the lead for sound effects in the game for the most part, and then he could do music for the most part. Kind of helping back and forth when we can, but mostly keeping it you know, solo for each of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think just for this project, sure. I think the keeping the job separate is what we kind of we felt. I think we just kind of gravitated towards that more than anything.
Mhm.
But I'm so glad he did, because I honestly really don't like doing sound effects. So I'm really glad that Nick was willing to do that, um, and I have a background of mostly doing just music and not really doing sound effects. Like
Mhm.
I've done a lot of games from like when I was in university, and when I did tons of game jams. Still doing some, so and I did music on those. So
Oh,
I think
cool.
that's so we kind of gravitated towards that, I think.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting, because Brandon and Nick applied separately from each other. So that's something which went through my head as, okay, of course they both have different styles, as I judging by the work they sent to me, and I was really curious to find out how they would work together, because they have different styles that could conflict with each other. But it turned out really well. Like they could easily adapt to each other, and the chemistry and the communication was so good overall. And then also the work they did is just insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think. I was gonna say all of those, because there was how many, like a dozen or so, maybe a little less than that, like power ups, and each of those has their kind of own unique, cool sound effect. But then also the, all the music for each track too. So how many sound effects were like in the game in total then?
Oh, I can check for you actually. A
Probably about a
thing which we,
dozen.
yeah, probably about a dozen. A thing which we also added, which you might not have noticed, is that each track has like a music track for it. But in the final lab, it's like a speed up version of it, so it's even more intense.
Oh, I don't think I noticed that actively, but I'm sure that the reason that the intensity ratchets up at the end, it had something to do with that subliminal music changing. But I was just so focused on crushing Chris and Vince that you know couldn't even pay attention to the music.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
think that's a great thing. I know a lot of game composers talk about how that's really what you want. You don't really want the player to like actively be taken out of the experience from the music.
hmm So, Brandon, did you go to like university for like composition, like music composition?
Yep, I've got my degree. I got my bachelor's degree at Virginia Tech, and music composition and audio technology professional. So it was like doing two degree paths at the same time, but I did it specifically for video games.
That's super cool. This is totally a random aside. One of my really good buddies that I lived with for a while when I was a senior, and we went all the way through Digipen together. His name was Seth Whedon. He is he's like one of the lead sound engineers on Fortnite, so he does all the emote music.
That's really
and
cool.
and like, dude, he sends me all the tracks that he's working on. It's crazy.
That's
So
cool.
I really respect that like I feel like music in games is one of those things that always comes at kind of as an afterthought. And I think that's a mistake, because I think there's the music, and especially like when you're playing I've been playing a bunch of Jedi Fallen Order. I've been
Oh,
playing that on my
nice.
couch, and it's the music in that game is fantastic, and it really like it sets the tone, and it sets the just what the feeling of that world is going to be. So the fact that there's 4 different music tracks for each of the worlds, and they each have their own kind of vibe. So how did you go about kind of determining what the music and what the feeling should be for each of the 4 tracks?
That's a great question. So I've got pictures from Tice and the other. I think it was from Tice. He sent the pictures over of each track, and I'm trying to think of how I decided and everything. I think the soundtrack is mostly kind of a reflection of past game soundtracks that I find really nostalgic and inspiring. So there's certain tracks that I listen to that kind of were influential to me as a kid that I would kind of like, how did this composer do that? And then I would try to like study that, and then I would just kind of come up with my own melodies. So I worked at my table with pencil and paper first to come up with the melody that I kind of wanted, and
Oh,
then I
wow.
would fill in the chords with that and kind of the rhythms, and then I would go full digital from there and kind of put in the notes and type everything out. So did that answer your question?
It did. No, that's cool. No, yeah, it does. I mean, it's cool that you
It
start
kind
kind
of
of.
just
Go ahead.
sorry, it kind of just sometimes it kind of just evolves out of like a small chunk of music or so. But
That's
I
neat.
try to envision what the player will want to feel, kind of like you said, and the kind of things that I want to enact on the player or not want to enact, because you can anticipate the player, or you can also do something that will do the opposite of that, I think.
hmm Yeah, because you can either kind of like subvert their expectations, or kind of build something that does feel like nostalgic. Like when Chris said, who he just bounced. So thanks, Chris, for joining. When Chris kind of saying, or maybe it was Vince. I can't remember. I think it might have been Vince that said it, but it was like, oh, this reminds me of like Diddy Kong Racing, and like that the fact that touched on that like nostalgia, even though it's obviously not Diddy Kong Racing music, is really cool, and that's a really strong, that can evoke a really strong emotional response, even though you're playing a Minecraft's marketplace map.
Yeah, I think that nostalgia for me is really important for my music. So I try to channel some of what I think made video game soundtracks really special back in like the late 90s and the early 2000s.
hmm
So,
That's cool.
I know. If I can butt in for a second
Yeah,
too.
I wanted to ask similar questions about the soundtrack, or about the sound effects too as well. So go ahead.
well, Nick
Yeah.
Nick also did one track too, so I'd be
Yeah.
Oh
interested to
shit.
hear what
Okay,
Nick
go ahead.
thought about it.
Yeah, because I know me and Brandon had talked about in the early stages of the project too, about how we should try and keep the music kind of close to the Minecraft soundtrack in a way, because the
Oh
Minecraft
yeah.
soundtrack, like the original Minecraft Alpha soundtrack, is like so special to me
hmm
and so many other people.
Yes.
Um and we didn't want to veer too far away from that since it's still the core of the game, you know.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so we tried to still keep some like, you know, low key sections of the music that aren't as like, you know, in your face, but still work in sort of like a racing environment.
Well, I
Um,
think
Mm-hmm.
we also tried to attempt some of the kind of lo-fi textures and sounds that you hear in the original soundtrack.
mhm.
That was really important as well.
Are you gonna release the soundtrack on like Spotify or something?
Ooh, it's a good question.
It is a good
I don't know.
question. If Tice will let me, I wouldn't mind.
I mean, we probably could, but it could be pretty fun. I can add it to my playlist then.
Yeah,
Listen to
exactly. A
it while
little
driving.
cross promotion right there.
Yeah, we could think about it for sure.
Yeah, I mean I think that's what's cool because there was when Approaching Nirvana did the Totem soundtrack. I just thought that
Yeah.
was such a cool thing for him to, go and basically, launch the album alongside of the map itself, and then go and do those like concerts and stuff. Like I think that this is not necessarily relevant to this exact conversation, but just like as the head of the partner program, it's just I find it so cool watching these partners do these like cross promotion and cross media kinds of things, um, and kind of seeing either branching into music or video, or like how the Hive, they just released the Grumpus Tale, which shout out to that, like that's a super cool map. I do have to admit I had a pretty hard time deciding between Grumpus Tale and this, but I ended up going with this one, which I think was a good choice. But
Thank you. Thank you.
go and play that map too. But like they unlock a costume on their server, which is just fucking so cool. So I love that there's just these awesome opportunities. So I would definitely encourage you to kind of cross promote in those kinds of ways, because you never know what can kind of happen from that. So
Hmm.
but yeah, I want to talk a little about the builds now. I'll transition to that. But first off, SP Dark Lord, what's up, buddy? Thanks for hopping in. We're
Hey, SP.
just talking about the builds part of Extreme Kart Racer. So we got Ronnie. What's up, Macaroni?
Hi, hi. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. We didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to hear your introduction, so I'm going to make you do that first. So tell me a little about yourself, what you do on the team, and how you get started.
My introduction. All right. Well, I'm Macaroni. I've been with Dice since like the beginning, and it was great to work on all the projects. And this one was definitely one of the greatest as well. It was really fun to make.
That's cool. So when you kind of first started this project, did you know how many tracks there were going to be?
No, we kind of just started off making them like we started just with one, just to get like an idea of how we were gonna make all the tracks, and then we just started adding, and then within the time that we had, we started to decide like what fits, like what can we do on a certain quality level.
That's cool. So then, did you? I'm curious about your kind of process then. So did you have like a like a sketch of what the track roughly would be, or like an idea of the theme? Like, how'd you kind of go about starting a new track? Did you start with the theme? Did you start with like the mock-up? I'm curious what your process was like.
Actually, me and Dice started like making a list with ideas we had, and then we just made like a square on the world made out of wool, and we started just painting on it, just throwing in like different shapes, different curves. And then at some point Dice was like, alright, we should divide every map in 4 different sections. So for example, the first map we made was the tropical one,
Mm-hmm.
and so it started off with like we want a village, the finish is gonna be there, then it goes through a temple into a volcano, and then Dice was like, oh, it would be cool if they can go up, so we added the elevation and then like the island part.
Yeah, I think that island part was really cool because there was just such um, what's the right word? Like variation and diversity of kind of environments. Like I'm a big snowboarder, so going to the blizzard map was awesome, and seeing the the snowboard jumps, and Tice sent me an early preview of the GIF of the chairlift,
Either.
going up the side,
Yeah.
and I thought that was just super cool. So the theming I think was really great, but then also the fact that you kind of were able to tie in the like the obstacles and the shortcuts also tied into that theme as well. So was there like a really strong, like with your you and your build team or whatever, like was there a really strong kind of desire to keep connected to that theme?
Sort of. It was mainly just Ronnie and me building. And since Ronnie and I have been working together, well, we've known each other for almost 7 years now. We've been working together for 2 years. We have really good chemistry, building wise. But on the other hand, I think Ronnie and I have, if I want to say A, Ronnie says B. Like we're really different in what we like.
We're polar opposites.
Yeah, like the complete opposite of what we think is like good quality most of the times. But that keeps us both sharp, and we definitely have really different ideas of what will make a map good. But it keeps us sharp, and we both give in, and we both make sure we can fit like a balance in those ideas, and then you get these things.
Yeah.
So a nice thing actually, which Ronnie doesn't even know, but for instance on the castle track, you go through these wheat fields before you go up the castle part. And Ronnie made like small bumps in the wheat fields, and when I was driving, I was like, no, this is so bad, because it would just slow you down too much. So I just removed them. I didn't even tell Ronnie like, hey, I'm gonna remove those. So that's stuff we both do. If I maybe. Believe we have that. Yeah, we had it on the snow track as well. Like at the start, you go through like a small village, and I made like a whole layout for it, and I created like some buildings for it, and I had like a pretty solid idea, I thought. And then the next day when I log on, Ronnie just changed the whole village and whole different layout and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, but that makes it pretty funny to work on.
Yeah.
I did respectfully copy his layout next to the map so that it was still there in a way.
So you had a backup at least.
Yeah, like if he would be like, all right, I really want it like the way I had it, then I could change it back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's the thing we do, but we have a great chemistry, and that's something you could also see back in the world, I think. On the other hand, I don't think this map is close to our full potential yet, because I wouldn't say we rushed it, but we just had to work really hard on it and pretty fast because we wanted to release it before the end of the year. So we basically created the whole map in 2 months, and I think if we had maybe 2 or 3 months more, it would have been such good quality, like even better.
Yeah.
Because one of the first tracks we finished was the snow track, and a thing I really wanted to have in the map, which we didn't end up actually doing too much, is have like models implemented in the map itself, such as the lift hill and stuff. And we also had plans for the ice lake that there would be like ice skaters on it and that kind of stuff. But in the end, it would just cost too much time for us. But I think if we had a bit more time, then it would have been more polished. So I don't think this is to our full potential yet. But yeah, we do. This week we started working on a really cool project. The code name is Green Demon.
Oh,
So
okay.
That could be a small hint.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I feel like we're kind of getting to the end of the interview. So what's you got any sneak peeks? Anything that is coming down the pipeline for Minetite that you wanna?
Actually, I'll send you an image.
Okay.
And then I believe I sent it to you earlier already on Slack, but I don't think you've seen it. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, here.
Yeah, send me on Discord because I closed Slack for
Yeah.
the next 3 weeks because I'm on
Yeah,
vacation
makes
now. I don't even see any Slack messages.
Here, you can show this on stream. This is
okay.
a small sneak peek.
All right,
This is something I made like 2 weeks ago or something.
This is even going to be new for me, maybe.
No,
Let's
no,
see.
you've all seen it.
Oh.
The team has seen it for sure.
There it is. Look at that. I even have my display capture set up. Look at dude, that looks so badass.
Oh yes.
All right, then give me a little something. Give me a little teaser for what this is then. As much as you're comfortable with, of course.
A thing I could tell you
Well,
is
it's a
that
vehicle.
it will include guns later. That's something
Okay.
I can tell you. And the code name is Green Demon. So
Green Demon. Okay.
maybe you could do some thinking. Green demons with guns and armored vehicles.
Okay. That sounds fun.
So,
a little
yeah.
Mad Max, maybe something like that. Oh well.
Yeah. I think it will take quite some months to produce. Like, I think we'll probably release it in like either May or June or something.
Okay.
So we'll definitely take us some more time.
Well, sick, dude. I'll definitely be keeping a lookout for that. So, well,
It will
Tyson.
be stream.
go ahead.
It will be playable on stream. Like
Ooh.
we're making it multiplayer.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I like playing Minetite content, so
I'll message you when it's out.
deal. All right, well, Minetite team, thank you so much, Brandon, Nick, Ronnie, Tice. Thank you so much
Thanks for having us.
for staying up
Yeah,
late
thank you.
and hopping on the stream. I had a great time playing Extreme Kart Racer, and man,
Thanks for
I'm
playing
I'm just stoked for what's up on next for Minetite. So yeah, it was a great time. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for playing it on stream. It means a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
Yep,
Cool.
absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off, sign off for the chat, and we will see you all next week. Amazing job, Minetite, Luna Hayes says, and I would agree.
Thank you, Luna. Thank you.
All right, Tice, and the rest of the team. It was good talking to you. I will. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you
So
will
yeah,
for sure.
enjoy your holiday.
Thank you.
I will.